This is Mose, Delaine, Belton. Thank you so much for joining us. Our special guest today is Alphonso Dickey, no stranger to Gola. He grew up in our church along with his family, and his wife is our very own Betty Dickey. We're going to discuss the Vietnam War, the Veterans Day Parade, and Harry's Veterans. Thank you so much, Alphonso, for agreeing to be with us today.
Well, Mose, it's truly my pleasure to be here, and I don't feel like a stranger because, as you said before, this is my home church. I can remember this as far back as I can remember, 6 years old.
Here at Gola.
Here at Gola.
Here at Gola.
Gola Memorial.
All right. Well, we want to talk about the Vietnam War, and in doing my research, I found out that the Vietnam War was from November 1st, 1955 to April 30th, 1975.
Yeah.
When did you join the Vietnam War?
Well, actually, I left Winston-Salem around the end of February, 1966. I had to do some training for a month in California, and I ended up in Vietnam in the later part of March 1966.
So when you joined straight out of high school, the Marines?
Yes, I did. At the time, I was confused about my future, and I didn't want to stand on the corner and do nothing. So I chose to go into the military, and some of my high school friends had already joined the Marines, and I followed their footsteps. In October 1963, I joined the Marine Corps.
So you were in the Marines for how long before you went to Vietnam?
Well, I would say, roughly speaking, I would say 2 years. I was a Marine for 2 years before I got orders to deploy to Vietnam.
So before you went to Vietnam, where were you?
Well, we did a lot of training. We went to Europe twice, Caribbean once, and we always go to a real hilly place so we can practice running up hills.
So you were sort of simulating where you were going to be, like in Vietnam.
We were simulating the real situation once we become in a combat zone.
All right. So then, once you got to Vietnam, what did you do?
I was in the Marine Corps Infantry.
Okay.
My job was to search and destroy. I carried a M14 rifle, a 45 pistol, and I was a squad leader. And I had about 14 men under me, and it was my responsibility to try to keep them safe, and at the same time complete our mission.
And how old were you when you had 14 men under your orders?
I was 20 years old.
20 years old. Okay, okay. And so how many search and destroy missions did you go on?
Well, actually, I would say I had 9 serious ones, but we had a lot of serious combat. And we had about, I'd say 10 or 11 smaller ones, you know. We had 10 or 11 smaller encounters, but we had about 9 encounters where a lot of casualties, you know, where people shot and killed and stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
So were you close in the fighting, or were you fighting from a distance?
Well, at times,
like you see on TV?
Well, actually, I didn't always see the white of their eyes.
Right.
But you can see their bodies in motion. And sometimes if you get a shot or somebody else get a shot, unfortunately, they would fall.
And you could see all of that.
We could see all of that. We were close enough to see. That's why you have to keep your head real low and just kind of look up, just enough to see. You don't want to you don't want to expose too much of yourself as a target.
Right, because then you really would be a target.
I would be a target.
And so you served in Vietnam for a year?
About 13 months.
About 13 months. And as a result of your service in Vietnam, what I see medals. Tell me about the medals that you received.
Well, the most important one is the Bronze Star Medal.
Bronze Star.
Combat duty. Combat duty means that I was at the combat. And I have another medal from the Vietnam service. This is, because I did serve in Vietnam, and I have one medal from Department of Defense.
Okay, and then you were honorably discharged.
Yes, I received an honorable discharge, and That's about the whole story about my little tour in Vietnam.
Well, I remember in my research that it was documented that the Vietnam War was fought by the youngest soldiers in our history in comparison to World War I, World War II, and the Korean War.
Mm-hmm.
So the average age of the soldiers were about what?
I would say roughly between the age of 18 and 20.
Between 18 and 20. And then I also remember how the recruiters came to the high school my senior year to actually recruit the senior boys of my high school class. And we found out that the recruiters were more in the black schools recruiting than they were in the white schools.
I would agree 100%, Mose, because I think they would go to the guidance council, the recruiters, and get the names and addresses and ages of those individuals. And I really think they over-recruited in the African American high schools, because when I was in high school, it was not mixed. It was all, it was segregated, as they say. And that was not only in Winston. That was for the whole country.
The whole country.
They over-recruited the young African American brothers for their war in Vietnam. We had no choice but to go.
We had no choice because that was when the draft was required.
The draft was in full force.
And ironically, with my name being Mose, with an accent mark, but without the accent mark, it's Mose. And my birthday was in July. About September or October, 2 white recruiters came to my house wanting to know if they could speak to me to find out why I had not registered for the draft. And when I came to the door, because my mama was talking to them first, then I come to the door and they look at me and then look at my mom like, we want to see Mose Belton. And I said, with my accent mark on my name is Mose. And they said, oh, we thought you were a guy and we were getting ready to draft you or require that you leave immediately to go to the service. So thank the Lord for accent mark.
That was your savior.
That was my savior. But I know with you being a decorated Vietnam vet, you are very active in Harris Veterans. How are you actively involved?
Well, actually, Mose, at this time with the Harris Veterans Organization, I'm the public relations chair. And what I do, I try to get the information out and find out information that's going to be beneficial to the group. And we exchange information. And we don't recruit, but we always try to ask veterans, if they're veterans, to see would they like to join our organization, because we have a lot of benefits and a lot of things that will help the veteran in different kind of situations,
Yes.
Yeah.
And Harris Veterans is located on Peter Street Parkway. I believe the address is 895 Peter Street Parkway. After the parade, what's going to happen?
Well, actually, the parade starts at 10, and it's roughly an hour, 20 minutes. And once the parade is complete, we'll all go back to the office on Peter Street Parkway, and we're having a reception.
Okay.
And it's for veterans, active, no longer active. Just all you got to do is be a veteran, but you got to show your ID.
Okay.
And we're going to have refreshments, and we're going to give out gift bags.
So all veterans are invited to Harris Veterans immediately after the parade.
And I would say after the parade, around 12 o'clock, that's when it should start, around 12. And that's when we have refreshments and give out the gift bags and just have some camaraderie,
Okay. Well then, Alphonso, I would like to thank you so much for coming and sharing with us today. Thank you.
Well, it was truly my pleasure, Mose, and I'm always welcome to come to Wgol, because it's always going to be my home, because it's always in my heart.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.